Hey, I've had this idea for a while about doing videos about centronuclear and myotubular myopathy. And I'm a dad of a terrific young boy who has centronuclear myopathy, which is related to myotubular myopathy. And I've been thinking maybe it would be a good idea to make some educational videos, just short videos about things that my wife and son and I have learned along the way. Either things we've learned through our doctors or researchers or talking and networking with other families. And kind of my idea was to post those videos on YouTube with the hope that other families may be able to learn something from them and respond to them and teach us more and get a chance to network together. And these videos, my idea is, these would not be medical advice. You'd see your physician, your treating physician for that, but really more of an opportunity just from my perspective as a dad of a son with myotubular centronuclear type of myopathy, so that we can share. It would be a two-way street because I'd hope that people would put comments down below the video and share their perspectives and experiences. Also a chance for us to sort of educate each other, also hopefully to inspire each other. Again, these would just be short videos. Ideally, I can foresee putting a playlist, which on YouTube, if you create a YouTube account or even without that, you can click on a whole playlist and watch a whole bunch of videos straight through, or you could just select the ones that are of interest to you. But if you have a YouTube account, the benefit there, you can subscribe so that you would get an email or whatever when a new video is posted. And also you can leave comments on the video, which again is important because I want this to be kind of a dynamic format. What would be the things I would cover? I don't know. Everything from starting with the basics of what's the terminology, what is centronuclear, what's myotubular, what's it mean for X-linked versus autosomal recessive, autosomal dominant, all of those kinds of things. How about a girl who's X-linked but she's a manifesting carrier for a girl or woman? What does all of that mean? What are the proteins involved? The myotubularin and dynamin and the genes, the BIN1 and RYR1 and DNM2, so that as these terms are being kicked about by your genetic counselors or your doctors or the researchers, that as families that we have a general framework for understanding the lingo within the respective fields. I could do some series on even just the history of where did the terminology myotubular myopathy come from in 1966, and you could go through the history of the different researchers both here in the States like Dr. Gail Herman, excuse me, and Dr. Alan Beggs and Dr. Dowling and Chris Pearson, and just different researchers and what they've contributed over time and what's on the horizon there. Also international doctors or researchers that have published on this, from Montoni and Jocelyn Laporte and lots of others that we could talk about what's going on in the research community. What's the genetic testing, or what's the general testing in terms of history and physical exam and EMG and muscle biopsy, and the extreme importance of genetic testing for these conditions. And where do you get that testing done? At the University of Chicago if you're here in the United States, and how do you get insurance to authorize it, and how does that help you for genetic counseling and family planning, and what do your nieces and aunts and sisters need to know, and about the genetics of some of these conditions. Also, we could talk about what are the different patient and family support groups that are out there. Everything from the Myotubular Myopathy Resource Group by the Scoggins folks down in Texas, to the Joshua Fraze Foundation, to the family conferences that have been held in recent years. All of that would be things that we could touch on, each in a separate 2 or 3 minute video, so that when somebody, whether you've had a family member affected by this condition for a while, or you're just someone whose family or family member has been newly diagnosed, that if you happen to stumble across these videos, at least it would be a way to get some basic background information to help you get up to speed with what's been going on with this condition worldwide. We could talk about networking, because that is so important. So many patients and families, with centronuclear and myotubular myopathy have never met or communicated with another family that's been similarly affected. And there's great power and inspiration in networking with others. It can be a terrific source of support. It can be a great source of advice and tips, and really can help you learn what's going on for family conferences, or what's going on in the research that we may want to get involved in. Lots and lots of opportunities out there, and whether that's meeting local families in your own state, or meeting researchers. If you're happening to be making a trip to Boston, well, boy, you should probably talk to the researchers there at Children's Hospital in Boston, rather. So there's lots and lots of things in terms of the Facebook group, and there was a Yahoo group before, but now the Facebook group can be helpful for you as well, and even not just here in the States, but things overseas. With some of the groups based in the UK in particular have terrific family advocacy groups that are also involved in supporting research. In terms of supporting research, whether that be participating or there's ways to help with fundraising. There's terrific fundraising ideas that are easy, and sometimes things that are already happening anyway. That can raise awareness and can raise funds to move research forward for children and adults that are affected by these conditions. Other things, even just talking about the research, we can talk about, what's the latest things that are, what's gone on historically, and what are the latest things that are going on, and what things are on the horizon. So there's a lot of exciting developments along those lines. And and really, opportunities for families to make a difference and get involved. Other things we can talk briefly in terms of medical management. Again, not from a from a perspective of a physician, but rather just think of me as, in this context, a dad who has a son that's affected by this set of conditions. And what have I learned, and what have others learned in terms of management of the breathing status, the respiratory system. So whether that be ventilators and cough assist and clearing secretions and tracheostomy and non-tracheostomy approaches to ventilatory support. So there's lots of things that, just a couple of minutes here and there, I think could go a long way towards, sharing our experiences together. Some things might not be so specific to centronuclear/myotubular myopathy, but we could come at them from a perspective of CNM, MTM. So things like, boy, what's the difference for if you have a child, between getting a manual wheelchair and deciding about a power wheelchair? What are the pluses and minuses to take into account? How about traveling with someone who has these special needs? About getting a ventilator onto an airplane? And transporting medical equipment and airline baggage allowance, and how do you navigate that, or navigating the educational system if you have a child that's affected, in terms of early intervention program and IEPs, individual educational programs when your child is in school, or navigating the insurance industry in terms of getting the kind of coverage for the appropriate medical care that the affected person may need. So anyway, that's lots and lots of topics that I have sort of thought of that I think, boy, I could do 2 or 3 minutes on that. Might be really helpful to someone else, or start a dialogue. I have no idea how I'm going to quite do all of this. In my regular job, I work, 60 or 70 hours a week. But I think if I knock off a couple of minutes here and there for a quick video, kind of an off-the-cuff, no editing, hopefully that these will be helpful and spur a dialogue where we can share with each other. Again, subscribe to YouTube, join YouTube, subscribe on there, so that we can share this journey together. And that's my idea, and hope you like it, and stick around. We'll see how it goes. All right, bye-bye.